Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And some of you probably thought about starting your very own sports podcast. Well, let me help you out. I want to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an easy way to make a podcast, and it's free. You don't have to worry about paying a bunch of money each month. There are creation tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So it can be heard on apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So go to anchorfm.com and start your very own podcast today. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
One more time.
Going on, who it is your truly TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Welcome to a special State of the Saints podcast, Key to Victory edition. Thank you very much for spending your Monday afternoon with yours truly. Thank you so much. And we're about to break down the week 2 matchup. The New Orleans Saints taking on the Las Vegas Raiders in Sin City on Monday Night Football. That's right. On yesterday, the New Orleans Saints did not play, but we managed to get through the day, by some very competitive games, man, and so some heartbreaking defeats. But enough about yesterday, man. It's time to move on to today. Monday Night Football, the New Orleans Saints are going to the brand new state-of-the-art stadium of the Las Vegas Raiders to take on the Raiders in their new home of Las Vegas. So we want to talk about the keys to victory. What do I feel the Saints need to do in order for them to win this game over the Las Vegas Raiders? But I want to say thank you to everybody that's filing into the chat right now. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending your Monday afternoon once again with me, and also being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Let's go ahead and start it off with Jarhead saying fail clowns will always remember those numbers: 28-3, 20-0, and 444-1. Oh man. Damon says, did anybody see Charlemagne the God donkey of the day is to the Falcons? Hey, did I not call that? I said it yesterday. Go back and look at the archives of the State of the Saints podcast. I said it. I said, if Charlemagne the God doesn't give donkey of the day to the Atlanta Falcons, he just need to go ahead and kill that segment. I already said that. I called that. Oh yeah, man. Speaking of which, man, speaking of something that I called, congratulations. Okay, I know it's the State of the Saints podcast, but I am an alumni of Jackson State University. Congratulations to Jackson State University. They now hired Deion Sanders as the head coach, and I have been calling that for weeks. Okay, if you've been following me on Twitter, I already told you that he was going to be the coach. I told you the day he was going to show up. So once again, congratulations to Deion Sanders being the new head coach of the Jackson State University Tigers, my alma mater. Hopefully he can bring some winning back to the university, because Lord knows we ain't been having much these days. Okay, so congratulations to him. I know he's going to be able to turn it around. But back to the chat. Breaking news. Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers. Yeah, he messed his ankle up. And let me go ahead and scroll down a little bit. I'm going to read one more, and then we're going to get into it. You know what this says? TJ, Stephen A. Smith, I've never said this about any team, but the Atlanta Falcons are the dumbest team in the NFL. I saw that. I saw what he said that this morning. But anyway, folk, man, I don't want to get away too far away from the show, man. We'll get into your comments a little bit later. Let's talk about the keys to victory. How the Saints are going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders in this game. It's very simple, Who Dat Nation. It's very, very simple. The Saints have to limit the mistakes. You already have an advantage, okay? A brand new state-of-the-art stadium that's not going to have any fans in it. It's going to be empty. So you don't have to worry about snap counts or anything like that and the loud crowd noise drowning you out in order for you to not be able to be successful offensively. So you already have that advantage. It's about communication. The New Orleans Saints defense have to communicate like they did on last week. They was able to get pressure on Tom Brady. They was able to force some turnovers, and they was able to wrap up and doing some surefire tackling out there as well. So the defensive side of the ball, let me start with them. They have to make sure that they actually are tackling these players. They have to make sure that they're communicating, and there shouldn't be any excuse to why they can't communicate. And also with the secondary, where I focus on them. P.J. Williams is coming back. He didn't play last week. Secondary did an outstanding job in his absence. But the secondary also, they got to make sure that they keep that same energy. I feel like sometimes the secondary plays down to their competition. Just because you're not going up against Julio Jones every week, just because you're not going up against Mike Evans every week, just because you're not going up against some of the elite competition at the wide receiver and tight end position, does not mean that you are supposed to taper it back. Marshawn Lattimore has been telling me and telling you for the last few months, throughout the entire time at training camp. He talked about how lax he was. You know, the fact that he was up in game for some of those elite wide receivers. It's time for him to step up, okay? You need to bring that same energy that you brought last week to shut down Mike Evans. You need to bring that same energy to try to shut down Renfrow. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to do it, okay? I know Renfrow, he's an incredible slot receiver. I've been watching this guy since he was in college. But the fact of the matter is you got to have the same type of energy. And I feel like the Saints kind of suffer when they go up against those little smaller scat wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like those little scat back / slot receivers that they have. So he has to be up for that, okay? They have to make sure that they're clicking on all cylinders and go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and that is shut down the competition. So it's going to start in that secondary, okay? Because I don't know if Henry Ruggs is going to play or not. I know he was dealing with an ankle injury. I didn't see anything about him not playing, but this guy could take the top off the defense, so you got to make sure that you keep him in check. Also, Josh Jacobs, okay? The defensive front of the New Orleans Saints have got to keep Josh Jacobs in check as well. Josh Jacobs is a really good running back. He's one of those guys that you probably didn't hear about last year, probably because, you know, the Raiders wasn't that good, right? And Kyler Murray won Offensive Rookie of the Year, which, in my opinion, I feel like Josh Jacobs should have won. The only reason Kyler Murray won is because everybody loves the quarterback, right? They show favoritism towards the quarterback. But Josh Jacobs is a guy that can run between the tackles, catch out of the backfield, is not afraid to lower the boom. He has great pad level, and he will run you over. He definitely will run you over. So the Saints are going to have to wrap him up, you know, make sure that they're tackling him, making sure he's not fighting for those extra yards. And also the linebackers of the New Orleans Saints need to make sure they neutralize him, to make sure that he doesn't get positive yards catching the ball out of the backfield. The wide receivers of the Las Vegas Raiders, I mean, they're smaller guys, not real household names. I mean, you know who Henry Ruggs is, of course. He played LSU throughout the time he was at the University of Alabama. And I'm pretty sure you know Hunter Renfrow is, the guy who played for Clemson and was a really good slot receiver for them. So these two guys right here are really, really good players, but they're not household names. They're not guys that I don't feel like you can't shut down. So let's just make sure that we neutralize these two guys and also get pressure on Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a guy who stands in the pocket. He can run if he needs to, but his bread and butter is standing in the pocket, standing strong, and prolonging plays in order to get the ball down the field. He's a quarterback that has accuracy, but he is one of those guys that fold like a cheap tent when you put pressure on him. Okay, when he starts to realize that he only has a few seconds, in his head to throw the football down the field, it messes with his timing and it causes him to make mistakes. Last week he had 2 touchdowns. He didn't have a single interception, over 260 yards. passing in the game against the Carolina Panthers. So Derek Carr is a very good quarterback. I mean, I know a couple of years ago, y'all remember him being an MVP running before he ended up getting injured. And I think McGlovin, whatever his name was, had to replace him in a playoff game when Oakland went to the playoffs. But Derek Carr can get the job done, and they have all the tools to. And we move on to the offensive side of football, and let's focus on the New Orleans Saints. Look, everybody loves Drew Brees. I love Drew Brees. You love Drew Brees. But we need better than 160 yards from Drew Brees. We need more than that. We need him to be able to get the ball down the field, and we need him to be able to find ways to get some of these wide receivers involved in the game. Okay, and that's not just on him. It's on head coach Sean Payton too. I said on the last edition of the State of the Saints podcast, what did I say? I said that Sean Payton zeroes in on his guys. And it seems like to me he doesn't take the time out to try to get the other guys involved. And this is one of the main reasons, Who Dat Nation, you have to get other guys involved because you never know when the next guy is going to go down. You can't just rely on giving package after package to people like Michael Thomas, even though he's incredible as a wide receiver. Still, there's a possibility like this game Monday, this game tonight, that he is not going to play. So what about the packages for Tre'Quan Smith? Where's the confidence in Tre'Quan Smith? What about the package for Lil Jordan Humphreys? Where's the package for Lil Jordan Humphreys? What about the confidence in all these other players? Marquez Callaway, Emmanuel Sanders. Where's the package for these guys so the Saints won't look one-dimensional, be checking it down, calling Drew Brees, a.k.a. check down Charlie? We got to make sure that we cannot and will not be doing the same plays over and over again, okay? Captain check down cannot take place in Las Vegas. Despite what people may think, Derek Carr can score, and he can score fast. So Drew Brees is going to have to find ways to get these other wide receivers involved. He's going to make sure that he's on the same page with a Tre'Quan Smith, with Emmanuel Sanders. Those are two guys that I feel like need to step up. Most importantly, Emmanuel Sanders, because look, we said that he's the number 2 receiver. He said he is the number 2 receiver, even though they're just tongue in cheek. I mean, if you don't think you're a number 1 receiver, what the hell you're doing in the NFL? You're the number 1 receiver in this game. So it's time for him to step up and, live up to that number 2/number 1 wide receiver, cap that we put on him, right? And Tre'Quan Smith, we've been asking for years for him to step up. But honestly, Who Dat Nation, we've had really no reason for him to really just truly step up because we always had Michael Thomas to pick up the slack. Okay, Michael Thomas was always involved in the games, and with Tre'Quan Smith, we wanted him to step up. Michael Thomas is not here. Michael Thomas cannot bail you out. Tre'Quan Smith has to go out there and make some plays, man. Tre'Quan got to have at least about 5 or 6 catches in this game. Okay, rather it be him extending some drives on third down, rather it be him stretching the defense, something. Tre'Quan has to do something explosive in this game. And then you have the X factor, Deontay Harris, who I feel like the Saints are probably going to have heavily involved in this game. And he's going to be that X factor. And I'm going to tell you why, Who Dat Nation. It's because John Gruden understands that in order for the Saints to win games 9 times out of 10, Alvin Kamara has to be fully involved. And Michael Thomas, who's not there, has to be involved. So who do you think he's going to spend most of his time trying to zero in on? That's right, Alvin Kamara. So Alvin Kamara is going to take up a lot of the attention, and that's going to lead to opportunities for people like Deontay Harris, who I feel like Sean Payton has been burning a midnight oil trying to come up with different plays to try to get him involved. Deontay Harris is explosive. He has the speed. He has the elusiveness. He has one of those – he has like that it factor that you look for in a player. And I feel like if Sean Payton lines him up in order for him to succeed in some of these matchups, we might be looking at the guy who is the unsung hero of this game. So if Sean Payton can get Deontay Harris involved and also, try to get Tre'Quan Smith involved, I think they should be okay. And as far as the running game is concerned, you have to be able to control the time of possession. I feel like you need to use the motivation of Latavius Murray, who I feel like should be motivated. I mean, the first team he ever went to was the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders gave up on Latavius Murray, basically told him, Mark Davis told him that we don't think that you're the guy. So they allowed him to go out and get signed by the Minnesota Vikings. Didn't want to pay him, right? You have somebody like Jared Cook is also another person. I feel like it should be motivated because you led the Oakland Raiders before you came to the Saints in catches and in yards and in touchdowns. So these two guys, I feel like, should be more motivated than any other player on the field to play the game against the Raiders to say, look, you see what you done gave up on, right? So I looked for those two guys to have a good game, but the running game has to be in effect for the Saints to win this game. They got to be able to control the time of possession. They have to be able to run between the tackles. They got to be able to get penetration. You know what I'm saying? You know, they got to be able to push the pile and move and try to get these extra yards. I want to see a big run by Latavius Murray tonight, and I damn sure don't want to see Sean Payton give up on the run. Special teams, I feel like if they duplicate what they did last week, I think we should be okay. I look for John Gruden not to kick the ball to Deontay Harris at all. If he has any sense, if he's a smart coach, which I know he is, I don't think Deontay Harris is going to sniff the ball. He's probably going to tell a punter to keep kicking the ball out of bounds because we all know how dangerous Deontay Harris is in a return game. He can turn nothing into something. And can nobody right now in the NFL on special teams flip the field like Deontay Harris? So I look for a lot of these punts to go out of bounds, a lot of these punts to get close to the sidelines where, you know, Deontay Harris won't have that much room to be able to maneuver. So I feel like the special teams are going to have to step up. We got Thomas Morstead, who is the reigning special teams player of the week. I feel like as long as we have Thomas Morstead, we should be okay. I know he's going to place the ball where it needs to be. And also in the kicking game, man, I look for some of this game. I feel like the Saints are probably going to start a little bit slow. I don't see the Saints starting fast. I think the Saints are going to win by more than one touchdown. But I look for Will Lutz to be able to kick a couple field goals just to get the Saints started and getting them involved in the game. And I know Will Lutz is going to come through because that's why I dub him Will Clutch. So those are the keys to victory. Those are the keys to victory. From my perspective, I feel like if the Saints do some of those things I mentioned, then they should be able to get the victory over the Raiders. But let me go ahead and see what you all have to say. Ren says they got to stop the run and pressure Carr early and often. I agree with that. You know, he get a little skittish in the pocket once he noticed that the defense is starting to barrel down on him. So, you know, I feel like if they put pressure on him and they get to him early, he going to understand it's going to be a long game for him, and he might not be able to do some of the things that he can do to make his team go. Tyra says, driving so I'm not ignoring anyone. Well, Tyra, make sure that you get to your destination safe. You know, I mean, anything you have to say, man, you can always comment, you know, later on. We don't want you to get hurt. So focus on that road. Damon says, how do you feel about Cam Newton? I think he did good. He looked healthy. I always been a fan when he was in college. I wish we would have got him. I think he looked good on last night. I think that he should have turned that play up, the last play of the game, and tried to run for the pylon, in my opinion. I think sometimes, you know, Cam Newton kind of quit on plays. I mean, that's just me, you know, but as far as him throwing the football down the field, I mean, he looked extremely accurate. His connection between him and Julian Edelman was outstanding. The way that he was pushing the ball down the field, I seen a confidence of an old Cam Newton, you know, from 2015 when they were down. It was nothing in his eyes that said that we not going to win this game. He had that type of confidence, man. He was cooking. So I do have a lot of respect for Cam Newton. I wish he would have turned the ball up, you know, and tried to beat the linebacker to the pylon. But besides that, I think he played a really big role. Captain check down. Yeah, man. I mean, you can't play captain check down. You know, like all that nickel and diamond for 160 yards, man. That's not gonna win you a bunch of games. You know, look, you can't have 160 yards like you did last week, and I don't expect for him to have 160 yards, like he did last week. The reason why I'm gonna give him a pass about last week is because it's simple. The defensive line and the pressure that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can put on a quarterback. I can't see the Las Vegas Raiders. I can't see the Las Vegas Raiders having the same type of pressure that Drew Brees like Tampa did. I can't. I just can't. Stephen A. said Falcons are the most ignorant team in the NFL. Well, I think he said the stupidest team, if I ain't mistaken. What up, TJ and the Who Dat family? Hey, what's going on, 985 Live? Taylor May says, Who Dat from Houston, Texas? Man, shouts out to you, Taylor May. Jarhead says, TJ, I read the Raiders will be playing with their third-string right tackle. Is that true? Yeah, I heard about that. I heard he's going to be the third-string right tackle is going to play in this game. But I don't put that past, I don't look past anybody. Look, we can't be sitting up here getting caught up in strings of guys. Just because a guy's a second or a third string don't mean that they ain't going to come to play. So even though he might be a third stringer, and there's a reason why he's a third stringer, it's not to say that he won't come out there and play. So even though he's supposed to play, I'm not looking past him. RJ Mason says Emmanuel Sanders needs to step up. Well, I think he stepped up last week, man. Michael Thomas, he was getting shut down by Carlton Davis. Call it for what it is, folks. I like Michael Thomas. Can't guard Mike, but it wasn't his week last week, and now on top of that, he ended up messing his ankle up. Emmanuel Sanders stepped up, caught a couple crucial passes to extend drives, and he caught a touchdown. So I would expect another week going into it. He should be much better at the offense than he was last week. Jarhead says, found it true. Cam about to have a field day. Well, we'll see. State of the Saints podcast. We must utilize Ty Montgomery more. His first 4 seasons with Green Bay, he averaged 11.1 yards a touch. The teams never utilized him at all. We have to get him involved. Well, I think you're going to see him involved in the game. I think you are. And honestly, I think you're probably going to see him on special teams because I can see the Saints moving Deontay Harris a couple of times, away from, special teams and put Ty Montgomery back there to return the ball, especially the fact that the depth chart is changing. I can see him being more heavily involved in the offense. So that might free up a spot for Ty Montgomery in special teams. And also in goal line situations, I can also see him out there on the field. Jerry says, Mama Tyra. King Arthur says, if I remember correctly, TJ, you had us losing this game in your record prediction video. Yeah, man. I did at one time, I think back in the day, because I was like, I said they moved to Las Vegas, and man, we all know how it is sometimes with with how the NFL is. Sometimes I feel like they do certain things for business moves, like trying to build a market in Las Vegas. So, what better way for you to build a business is to make that business more successful? And how do you make it successful? By winning games like this. So that was going through my mind, but the more I think about it and what I seen out of New Orleans Saints on last week, I can't pick against them. I can't, I can't, and I won't pick against them because I feel like they have all the tools to win the football game. So I'm going to renege on that one. But I appreciate you, King Arthur. You definitely are right about that. That was in my prediction. I did have the Saints losing. The Saints are the better team, and we should win by 14 or more points. I ain't about to go that far. I think it's going to be more close than we think. I think the Saints just going to pull away late. I like your keys to victory, TJ. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Big in the T's Lutz. Ramsey says, up. I agree, TJ. I appreciate that. Those are the things I feel like they need to do in order for them to win. Cam Jordan is going up against the Raiders' third string tackle. He better have a hell of a day with it. I don't know, man. They're going to give him some help, though. They're probably going to get a tight end, a chip or something like that. I can't see them leaving the right tackle on the island with Cam Jordan all by itself. I think they're going to get somebody to chip Cam Jordan. How do you see Marshawn on Ruggs? I see Marshawn maybe getting beat on one route for 20 yards. Big maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to get beat. I don't know if he's going to get beat by 20 yards, but I do know he struggles against guys that have speed, that top-end speed, and he also struggles against smaller guys, which I noticed. He does good against guys that's like 6'4", 6'5", those skyscraper-type wide receivers. but he struggles against guys like Adam Thielen and Cooper Kupp and people like that. So Henry Ruggs is kind of that type of mold of player. So I'm interested to see how he is going to respond to that because, I mean, as good as he is, man, he struggles with those smaller guys. Ditto that, Jerry. NUTs. Let's see. Tons of injuries. Tons of injuries this past weekend. Hope that bug skips over New Orleans. Man, we already had one last week. Michael Thomas, right? Michael Thomas, I mean, they don't get no bigger than that. I mean, Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees would be next. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying they next. I'm knocking on wood when I'm saying that. I'm saying, but Michael Thomas, I mean, the reigning offensive player of the year. I mean, we can't forget about that, right? Oh, hell no. We not going no further without mentioning how much failure exists in Atlanta. Another 20 points up, another bone-crushing loss. And we already, I mean, that we done had a whole show, yesterday talking about that right after the game. So, yeah, I mean, they lost, man. That's just what they do. Indeed, Tampa front is legit. And Sanders just said he is still finding his way in the offense. It's going to take a few games for it all to click on offense. Yeah, I mean, but right now we can't afford that, man. We can't wait. We can't wait for them to click on offense, okay? We can't wait. Like, you got to do it now. You got to do it now. Hopefully we can stay healthy. So many injuries out there. Yeah. Laughing my A off says, I told the Who That Nation Cam Newton would be a good fit in New Orleans when Brees retires. Think about it. Cam took a Carolina team to a Super Bowl. Imagine what he can do with us with our lethal weapons. Man, hindsight is 2020, though. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was singing this same tune about Cam Newton, before they actually seen him on Sunday Night Football. People were still believing what the media was saying. He damaged goods, hadn't played a full season in like 2 years. So, I mean, hindsight is 2020 right now. He looked like the best thing since sliced toast bread. Now he in New England, and now we want him. But if one of these other quarterbacks come that the Saints done sign and they go out there and they ball out and they do some things, we ain't going to even be thinking about Cam Newton. I guess it's just hindsight right now because, I mean, he got the juice right now, as he would say. But I don't know, man. I don't know if getting Jameis over Cam was, a bad decision because I haven't seen Jameis play yet. And, I haven't seen Taysom play a full game. So I don't know if that's a bad decision or not. Who's to say if Jameis Winston was to come into the game, for some apparent reason, that he wouldn't ball out. Marquez Callaway has some serious go get the ball skills. We have to let this young talent play. Who that? Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see him probably down the line. I think he's still learning. That's the reason why he didn't play. He wasn't active. But I think you'll see him pretty soon. Our linebackers have to make Jacobs feel the pain. Yeah, they're gonna have to make sure that they zero in on him, man. I mean, he is the guy. I mean, he is the straw that stirs the drink in Las Vegas right now. Time to see who is going to lay an egg. Yup, look at Trey Hendrickson. He's a second string, and he beast it out. Never overlook anybody. Yep. I mean, I look at somebody like Patrick Omameh, right? Patrick Omameh came in last year for Teron Armstead. Came in for Teron, did an okay job at left tackle, wasn't giving up no sacks. So he was like a third string guy. I think he was like right after Andrews Pete or something like that. Andrews Pete was already hurt at the time. Nick Easton was there. So Patrick Omameh was a third string. And look how well he played in the absence of Teron Armstead. So we can't look past guys just because they're down the depth chart. TJ, how can a team have the arrogance of a Super Bowl contender and be so incompetent? Which team we talking about here? Okay. How are we talking? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about the Falcons? I mean, we got to be talking about the Falcons. I mean, I just don't know. The only thing I can say is it's a pride thing, Nobody's ever going to come to you and tell you, oh, man, you know what I'm saying? My team suck. My team ain't going to win nothing. Ain't nobody going to ever come to you and say nothing like that. Of course, you're going to have the confidence in your team in order for them to be successful. So I wouldn't expect it any other way. But it's still funny when they don't get the job done. Okay, it don't make my job any more fulfilling to do when they lose. Hold on. Shouts out to Vincent, says, who that from Maryland? And Ramsey says, what do you think about a stay of the same of one of the only Atlanta Falcons DP repeat of the Super Bowl? You talking about the state of the Saints? You talking about one and only Atlanta? Man, look, I'm not. I think the Atlanta Falcons, I think they kind of snake bit in my honest opinion. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of, they kind of low hanging fruit right now, which is sad. And I'm glad, that none of those Atlanta Falcon fans came in the group yesterday. They knew better. Zell says, TJ, I will be at work tonight. Anything station or websites I can live stream or listen to hear or watch the game tonight. Probably would be like somewhere like, if you can download the TuneIn app, ESPN, they'll have the game on there. And also, man, check out New Orleans Saints Live. New Orleans Saints Live on Facebook, man. Join their group. I think it's him. I also know a female is a part of the group, and maybe another guy. I mean, they may have some more people. Those are only 3 people I remember. But anyway, New Orleans Saints Live, they show all the games there, man. So shouts out to New Orleans Saints Live. If you ain't a part of that group and you outside of Louisiana or the Saints area where they play the games, like myself, sometimes I can't be able to catch that Saints game and I can't go to Buffalo Wild Wings. And right now, me and my wife, we saving money right now, you know what I'm saying? Because we about to move into a home in January. So I'm not going to buy the Sunday ticket. I'm not going to do it. So I ended up like going to Facebook sometimes and watch New Orleans Saints Live if I can't get the Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the game. So join New Orleans Saints Live, Zell. They'll let you in, man. Ty isn't the same player anymore. I don't know, man. I can't say that. I can't say that. He did good in training camp, and I haven't seen enough out of him to say that he's not. Don't he have a fumbling problem? I don't know if you have a fumbling problem or not. I know he pretty good. You what? Let me see. 2-minute laugh at the Falcon break. I don't know if I can laugh for 2 minutes, man, but I mean that is pretty hilarious. 504 Hot Boy TJ can't say it on the air because of his little nephews who are turned in. Yeah, man, I got to. Yeah, I got to, man. I got to make sure that I look out for the kids here. We will win. I like that optimism, man. 105.3 FM. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hot Boy, thank you very much. 504 Hot Boy. I wasn't really too sure. I mean, I know WWL down there, they play the game, but you have to have a computer for some apparent reason, which is the stupidest thing I think I ever heard. Why would you need to have a laptop computer to listen to the game? Just pay the little extra money that you need in order for it to be streamed on some of these other places that play radio stations. I don't get it. WWL, come on, man. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to you. Had a couple people from WWL on the show, as y'all already know, but got to do better for the fans. TJ, we winning. Look, I don't put anything past an opponent. I'm sorry, folks. I done seen way too much Saints football for the last 34 years of my life for me to be like, man, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Look, I trust the Saints to win games, but for me to be sitting up here saying, man, they're going to blow them out, I ain't got that kind of confidence. I don't know what. I just don't know. Just run Murray. Nobody wants to tackle him all game. I agree. How do you feel about our run D against this big old line and big running back? I trust them. I mean, they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 3 years. So not to disrespect the old line of the Raiders, but I like our chances. TJ, who that? I am a tad bit concerned about the middle though. I mean, Rodney Hudson, I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he is the best center in football right now. So I'm interested to see how the defensive tackles of the Saints are going to be able to get past him. He does do an outstanding job. So Tahir Jones says, is the dome going to be open for attendance by Chargers week? I don't know, man. You might have to ask the mayor of New Orleans. And they say they're still in phase 2. So, excuse me, I'm going to have to ask her. Trevor Trev says, what up, TJ? What's going on, Trevor? Nicole says, we got this, baby. Who that for life? Shouts out to Nicole. ACLs being snatched up like taxes this week. I question why canceling preseason games was a smart idea if players weren't going to come in the best shape of their lives. Well, it's because of COVID-19. But you also have to look at the fact there were no OTAs, no mini camp, no off-season activities whatsoever. So guys were basically stationary through most of the summer, until it was time for a training camp. So I can't too much blame that on preseason. I mean, if you want to look at it this way, preseason would have just, made the situation even worse, right? Because they would have ended up getting hurt in preseason. I mean, think about this, man. These guys weren't getting hurt late in the game. They were getting hurt first quarter, right? So who's to say that they would, if they didn't play in the first quarter of a preseason game, the same thing wouldn't have happened. I mean, you can't really protect yourself from injuries, man. They just happen. Saints man says, wasn't here when you went over the keys, but I think our D-line needs to shut down Josh Jacobs and make sure the Raiders don't win on time of possession. Saints man, I mean, you pretty much said what I said. Those are 2 points. I mean, I said a couple more things too, but we speak in the same language, my friend. Saints fans 1021 says, yeah, big maybe. How y'all know if Ruggs even playing though? Well, I mean, they haven't said that he's not playing, so we only got to go on that official, young Nola. King Arthur says, no problem, bro. With new information comes the possibility of a different perspective. A wise man becomes a fool when he feels he can't learn anymore. Yeah, I agree with that, King Arthur. And like I always say, man, I mean, I'm sitting up here, I'm just giving my opinion. And, my opinion can change. Somebody can call up and if somebody can dial in and be like, it's just like Tyrell Williams, right? I didn't know Tyrell Williams was out for the season. I made a comment on social media. I said the Saints need to bring the same type of energy in the secondary if they was lining up against Mike Evans as they would Tyrell Williams. And somebody told me it was like Tyrell Williams on IR. I'm like, well, thanks for telling me. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I didn't know Tyrell Williams wasn't playing the game. Neither did I know he was on IR. So, I mean, I don't mind being corrected. And I'm not one of those people that's so, so I'm full of themselves like, oh, man, I made a mistake. I'm going to erase it. Nah, man, that's what I'm thankful for you all for, to correct me. If I say something that you like, no, that's not it. I heard this. That's fine. I don't care. I don't feel like it's a shot at my credibility or whatever. I mean, I know sports. I love sports, but I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. And, some of you, know about so many other things more than me. Like there's things that, even Saints history. Some of you have been Saints fans as long as I've been alive. I was born in 86. Some of you been a Saints fan since the 70s, the early 80s, so there's a lot of things that get slipped through the cracks. And I appreciate you all for, letting me know. Like I said, I'm going to change my mind if I feel like something happens, something occurs. I feel like, man, it shouldn't always be about you being right. It should be about you being informed. John says, hey, TJ, are you in any fantasy football leagues this year? Yeah, I was in a fantasy football league, I think with my brother, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, man. Somebody sent me, I'm in somebody fantasy football league. I don't know if it's my brother or if it was one of my friends from school. I can't remember, but I am in one fantasy football league. Special teams will be the icing on the cake for our Saints, whipping these Raiders, especially big in NUT's Lutz. Leave no doubt tonight. Yeah. This is Cesar Ruiz's first game in the NFL. Think he will play good or bad? I think he'll do a solid job. I bet Jameis Winston was laughing his butt off on the bench last week. Yeah, I mean, basically looking at Tom Brady do the same thing he did. I mean, how much more credibility does Jameis Winston have after last week? I mean, Tom Brady has thrown 3 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. So how good is Jameis looking right now? He can easily say, man, look at Tom Brady. Look at arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Look what he's doing out there in Tampa. So maybe it just wasn't me. Nah, TJ, boss man, I'm the truth hurts. I've said this before. Cam games last night against Seattle. Okay, the truth hurts. I mean, I'm not okay. I say this. I'm not saying that you're saying this. I'm just saying the majority of the people didn't one speaking the same language here. Okay, I'm not speaking about you in particular. I'm just talking about people in general. Like people weren't thinking that Cam Newton was going to save the New England Patriots franchise. The narrative was, would the Patriots even go to the playoffs? That was the narrative. Now all of a sudden everybody's singing the praises of Cam Newton. All I'm saying is hindsight is 2020. But I remember, you talking about that because I even did a show about should the Saints think about getting Cam Newton. And I think you were one of the people that said they should, if I'm not mistaken. I remember doing a show like that. TJ, where's Ja Rule today? Holla, holla. I don't know, man. I don't know where Everett is. I don't know. I know he was a little bit under the weather, so I don't know if he's still sick, man. Shouts out to Everett if he's still dealing with that sickness, man. But yeah, but I don't know where he is today. ATJ, we'll be all right, fam. Who that? Yeah, I think we're gonna be all right, man. But I just don't look past competition. I just don't. Anybody can be any team can be any other team on any given Sunday, or in this case, Monday. Live streams on Facebook through the group Who That Nation. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Twitter right now. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, and I'm soon to be on the audio podcast once the show is done. Oh, Baddest Sports Show. Here he is right here. This is Everett right here. This is Everett. Yeah, shouts out to Everett, man. DLP 2600 says, here is Vegas. Everyone is talking about the game. First game in the Death Star. Saints on national TV a lot this year. It's about time. Yeah, they got 3 straight high-profile games. Week 1 was the highest rated opening game since 2016. Then they playing on Monday Night Football, and then next week they play on Sunday Night Football. So yeah, man, the Saints been they primetime Saints now. Shouts out to primetime once again, being the head coach of Jackson State. Cheap plug. Frank says, who that baby? Jamari Carter says, who that? DLP says, I heard the Saints will allow fans next week for Green Bay. Can anyone confirm this? Yeah, I heard that. I heard there was I heard somebody was saying like they was offering tickets to that game. So yeah, so I think that's gonna happen. Last night on the news, we gotta do is get a lead and win our time of possession plus defense. Yeah, I mean that's the key to victory, especially when you're playing on the road. Control the time of possession by running the football. I'm more worried about bogus calls from the ref and foolish calls from coaches more than anything. I mean, that's the story of the Saints, ain't it? That's the story of the Saints. Questionable play calling and questionable officiating, to say the least. Announcement will be made Thursday about fans, I heard. I think they're going to end up letting the fans back in. Football is football. Saints going to win today. Bucks Skull game in the house. Shouts out to Bucks Skull game, man. You can't get hurt. Yeah, football is football. Anybody can get hurt. I agree with that. Dalvin Cook ran really well in the playoffs on us. This running back can't hurt is without running for 100 yards. He didn't even run for 100 yards versus Carolina, and they still controlled the game. Yeah, he did. Dalvin Cook ran really well in the first half. In the second half, he got shut down. I will say that, I don't know what Sean Payton said or what Dennis Allen, what adjustments he made, but it worked in the second half. looking forward to a big bounce back game from Drew. Yeah, man, he can't have 160 yards. He can't have 160 yards this game. He can't. You can't have 160 yards trying to win no game. And especially if the Raiders play mistake free, you definitely can't have 160 yards. You have 160 yards in a mistake free game out of the Raiders, you losing. I don't know if I can go that far, but I wouldn't mind it. Jackie says the Saints could have won at least one Super Bowl already. I agree with that. I'm so ready for this game. What's your projected score of the game? 26-17. Baddest Sports Show giving some flames. Does the amount of injuries have anything to do with no preseason? I don't know about the preseason. I just think off-season activities altogether, Mark. You know, all off-season activities are really, really important. They're really, really important to the success of a team. It builds camaraderie, the repetition, especially for the new players. They don't have any of that stuff. And also just the conditioning aspect, just being around, staying loose throughout the whole entire time. There was an extended amount of time people couldn't even go outside to do anything. So, I think that had a lot to do with it. Hopefully the defense plays as well as last week. Let's get Jackrabbit another pick six. I can just give him another interception. I don't even need a pick six. TJ, did you watch his brother David in 2002 when he was the number one draft pick for the Texans? Yeah, I did, man. And I think David Carr didn't get a fair shake. David Carr was an okay quarterback. Like he wasn't a household name. He wasn't a world beater, but he was a lot better than people gave him credit for. The problem was he got sacked over 60 times, in his first couple of seasons, over 60 times, and they didn't have an offensive line. They didn't build anything around him. It was David Carr and everybody else. So I don't feel like he got a fair shake. I feel like if they actually would have got an offensive line around him, I think he would have won some games for him. So, yeah, but I definitely watched David Carr. I remember he was the first pick overall. Yep, the first draft pick by the Houston Texans. I remember that. I already read that. Let's go down. Who that from North Las Vegas? We got this tonight. A lot of Vegas in the house. DLP 2600. Now we got what was that? Who the Truth Hurts? Truth Hurts in here. So shouts out. Shouts out to Vegas holding it down for the Who That Nation. Who that? Doofus, another great app. Okay. I never heard of Doofus. So I guess that's Jarhead giving a app where you can actually watch the game, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I use. Okay. I have to check that out. I was listening to the Breakfast Club Donkey of the Day. It was hilarious. Yeah. Like I said, I called that. I was actually listening to that while I was in the car. I took my wife to work this morning. I was listening to that. TJ Johnson says, Ronald Laxey, what's happening, brother? We got TJ, the host, hoping for a big dose of Latavius Murray and Jared Cook for the win. Me too. Me too. I just hope that he stays active in this game. No Sean Payton on prime time. He wants to show the entire world how smart and how big of a genius he is, and he wants to parade and show Drew Brees. Like, come on, man. Give me a break. Run the football. Run the football, play defense, get the hell out of there with a W. I'm going to read a few more, and then I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, folks. Get prepared for later on tonight. Doofus Stream is what the app is called. Okay, thank you. So it's an app that you download? Is it an app that you download? TJ, next time you have a call-in show, I got to call in. Man, you can be a part of the show tonight. That's how the show tonight works, The post-game show that will be on tonight. We're going to be breaking down the Las Vegas Raiders Saints game. And, I put the link in the description. And I also put the link in the chat so people can actually dial in and call in and they can, talk about the game. So if you're here tonight, Truth Hurts, man, be sure that you dial in, man. We'd love to hear from you. Let's see. And finally, we have you can download on Android or iPhone. Okay, thank you so much, man. Mighty Mouse, thank you so much for that information. I'm definitely going to use it. Jarhead says halftime show again. Yes, there will be a halftime show. It's going to be a brief few minute, probably 1 minute, about 2 to 5 minutes, me talking about the Saints first half against the Raiders. So be on the lookout for that also. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the Keys to Victory edition of the State of the Saints podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. And on tonight, we are going to be announcing a winner that will receive the free State of the Saints podcast t-shirt. And you still have an opportunity, okay? You have between now and to the end of the game to snapshot me a picture of you following the State of the Saints podcast on a streaming app. Now, I've seen a couple of people, they sent me a picture of them following on Facebook. I appreciate that. I've seen people sending me snapshots of following and watching me on YouTube. I appreciate that too. But it has to be a streaming app. It has to be iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, one of those out there, okay? So not the YouTube channel, not Twitter or anything like that, okay? So we're trying to grow the audio platform because there's a lot of people out there that can't watch the videos that we do here on the State of the Saints podcast. They listen, rather they're at work or they're at the gym. So we want to make sure that we're pushing that so they can be able to, get access to that. So I'm asking for your help. I don't ask for much from the Who Dat Nation. The only thing I'm asking for is for you to subscribe on one of those streaming apps. I would really appreciate it. Till next time, I'll see you all tonight. Have a good evening. And like always, all I got to say is, Who Dat?